Hi guys, welcome to this quick review of this Scozer hot and cold blender. The model number is HL-1979. Here we have some instruction manual if you're interested, if you can't find it online. I don't know if they have their website, so I'm going to show you this pretty quickly. There's not much, I hope you can read that. I don't know if it's fully focusing, just go to the highest resolution, usually 1080p, put it on pause on every page. You should be able to read everything. There's not much, unfortunately, and also the translation to English is definitely not the best. Maybe the most important thing here, the failure process here. Unfortunately, I have to tell you, I have a failure and this is not covered in here, but I'm trying to show you as much as I can in just a couple of minutes. What we get here is the base. We get two of these cups or pitchers here. They come with the same lid. They have this steam lid, which is pretty good, or seem to be pretty good quality. Then we get this lid here, the outer part. We can push this thing inside and secure it, and then I think some steam will be able to go out, so it's not exploding. This is important, especially for this one here, which is heated. This one is plastic and not heated. I mean, by the way, this is really thick glass. Also, the base makes a really good impression. It's pretty heavy, at least most of it. But there's one thing. I mean, in general, we have two things where I'm a little bit concerned, but I'm going to show you all these things which concern me a little bit. I mean, everything here looks pretty solid. Here we have the contacts. I mean, that's the electronics. It's nicely protected, so even children shouldn't be able to access the electronics. I mean, this is probably high power, and this goes into the heating. By the way, here I can show you this cup here. It's actually the more interesting one. We can secure this here. It's really important here. It's not possible here with this one, but here it's not needed. Here with this one, which can get really hot, we can nicely secure this thing here and then lift it up. And then we have same thing here. By the way, it has nice triple seal here. I think this is pretty good. Yeah, we can see this here. Down there, there is this metal thing which is then going to heat depending on what you are selecting. You cannot open this thing. You cannot open for cleaning. This has only self-cleaning. With this thing here, yeah, I have already water inside. There's, when you look underneath, there is something which says open and close. Maybe you can twist and open close. I'm not sure about that, but definitely with the one with the heating, you cannot open on your end. It's not possible. By the way, I almost forgot to show you the other accessories. This thing, I don't even know what it is. I mean, this thing here is to push things down if you're in trouble, if it's not moving or so, not nicely cutting. You can try around with this thing here. That's the lid. I think we had this. Yeah, I just forgot it here. And this thing is interesting. This you can use in the glass cup. That's the thing which you can fill with whatever you want to fill. Put it here and then you can secure it and leave it here. Maybe it will then be used up by the whole thing. I have no clue how this works. Maybe you know more about that. By the way, here we have some hot water maximum, which is around 1200 milliliters. But there's also another one. Maybe you can see that better here. There's one imprinted in the glass and it shows 1400 milliliters for the hot or for the soup, and for the cold I think the maximum is 1750 milliliters. So everything looks at the moment not too bad. You can see this thing here, this really thick glass, as thick as it gets. You don't have to be worried about crushing really hard ice, large ice cubes or so. I'm definitely not worried. So how it's usually working, you would have to place this on top. By the way, I can show you how this works. Here we have the power connector, which would provide power to this thing, and here we have some sensor here which indicates that there's some cup on top of it, and when we put it on top, you can see there's nothing changing. There's no change, not even when we add the lid. I mean, there's no sensor to measure that the lid is added. But sometimes this warning, like the cup warning, that's a warning saying there's no cup on it, but you can see there's definitely a cup on it. When I remove this thing and put the other one on top, unfortunately I can't show you that. There's some pin here, and this pin goes fully to the ground, and then it's pushing inside. When I push the thing down, then the cup warning will disappear, you can see, and it's showing a red light here. I think I have to go down a little bit. So you have some of the icons turned on and some are turned off. This is really an important thing, and I have to warn you regarding this display here. Let's say you have the cup warning and you think you have to push something like crazy. No, don't push really hard. These are sensor buttons, and this panel here is very weak. I don't know if you can see that. You can push easily from the side. I hope you can see that here. It's very weak. I mean, this thing is tough. The other parts are tough, but this display field or control panel is super weak. When you push hard, it goes inside, and some people would maybe think, okay, I have to just push harder and then you break it. Don't do that. These are sensor buttons. If a button doesn't work, then it's not intended to work. So at this moment, after placing the cup here, the only button which we can press is this one here. And then we see we have the manual options for the time and the speed, and we have some different options. The ones which are not illuminated are of course only possible with this glass cup here. And the ones here are possible, the ones which are illuminated now are possible with this plastic cup. So I can either choose one of these or I can start it manually. So I'm going with the manual speed. I have to close the lid here. Yeah, by the way, I go a little bit higher again, and you can see there's also like a closing mechanism here. And this will make sure that this is never going to spill here. So when you wait too long, it goes back into this thing here. So I'm choosing something like a speed, and then I can start it again with pressing again here. And to stop, you just have to push here again and it will stop. So it looks like it has decent power, I would say. I'm definitely not worried about the core device. It looks very solid. I mean, most of the parts are looking very solid. The probably weakest points are like this display, which is super weak. I mean, you have to be really careful. I'm not saying it's breaking anytime soon. By the way, it has like a plastic cover. You can remove this thing here. It looks a little bit bad. It looks like not in good quality or so. If you see these like bubbles and so on, just remove this cover film here. I think my display here is broken. It arrived like this. I think it's not only the cover here. I mean, I can show you that. I removed this thing and you can see that. No, it's not broken. It was just the cover sheet, so you don't have to be worried. I mean, it looks now pretty cool. I mean, you can see I just can touch here very easily. It's super easy. You don't have to push hard, and now it looks really, really good without the plastic. It makes really good impression, but it's rather weak, I would say. I'm not saying it's going to break anytime soon. And another thing here is this thing here, this seal or whatever this is. I hope you can see that here. I don't know what's the intention of this thing. This is not secure. This is just on top of it. How can this work when it's just loose on top of it? There cannot be much function or use of this thing, but maybe it's not really used. Maybe it's just an extra protection which is actually not needed. I don't know, but it worries me just a little bit, not too much, a little bit. And then of course the biggest problem for me, that this sensor here is obviously not working. I can't put this on 100 times, and maybe 2 times out of 100 times it's disappearing. The cup warning is disappearing, but usually it's not disappearing, so I can't do anything. No matter how hard I would push here, it's not doing anything. So I can't show you how this works with the heating. Yeah, because I didn't want to let you go without proper testing. I tried and tried and tried again, and finally I found the problem. So there's not only this sensor here, there's more here with this glass cup. You can see, I mean, I have already filled it up with ice. So on the top here, it's really important to use this lid as well, because there's a sensor built in here. And we have to use this lid here, and we have to align it here in the bag. So we put it on, and I took the camera a little bit higher, so hopefully you can see that. I turned the thing a little bit to the side so you can see how you have to align the thing. So you push this thing down here, and then you have to move it to the side. And there's some resistance here. I hope you can see that. It's not properly aligned now. You really have to push it more to this side, and I hope you have been able to hear this beeping. And now this cup warning has gone here. It's gone, and now it's showing the on button, which I can use to start the thing. I hope you can see now more or less everything. Yeah, I think you can see the cup and you can see the display, and so I can turn it on now finally also with the glass cup, and I can choose all the functions. You can see with the glass cup all the functions are available. I think there is no ice function or so. And by the way, of course, it's also recommended to use this part of the lid. I mean, the sensor is only built into the frame actually, but it's highly recommended to use this thing as well and have it secured. So what I'm going to use, I think I'm using the manual thing here. I'm just starting with normal speed or the lowest speed. It's the P1, 30 seconds, and then I think I have to confirm. I go a little bit faster here. And it looks like it hasn't been catching all the ice cubes, but it definitely looks like the cup is strong enough to handle also large ice cubes. And now I can use this thing here to do a little bit of work if it's not catching up everything. So I try again here. Yeah, it seems it has a little bit of a problem with the ice here. I mean, it starts, it has enough power to do the ice crunching, but it's somehow not picking up all the ice cubes. So I think just pure ice cubes can be a little bit tough. I mean, you can do that. You could even open that and always push a little bit with this thing. But probably it's not intended to use this thing. You would have to use some liquid. So I'm going to use the soup function, which also includes some heating part. And this will then melt the ice, and then over time it should work. And that's going to be interesting to see how fast we can heat something up here. So I'm turning the thing on and selecting the soup, and I start the thing here. You can see the temperature here. I hope you can see that. I go a little bit down. I think you don't have to see the top here of the lid anymore. So it's probably better to be in this area, or I go to the larger camera thing. Yeah, I can hear something going on, definitely. Pretty sure there is some heat here. Yeah, the time, is that the time? 40 minutes. Yeah, of course, because of the ice cubes, it's gonna have a hard time to heat this thing up, but it looks like it's still very strong. I mean, I can definitely hear something going on, and it already shows some temperature increase. I don't know what the time means here. Yeah, when we check the instructions again, for every product you choose, there is some time also like preset. For the soup, they are saying the soup takes about 30 minutes to make, Yeah, I don't see the time counting down, but there's definitely some temperature increase here. I'm pushing this thing a little bit down. Yeah, what's a little bit a problem with this thing, that I have a hard time to reaching out to everything or down enough, deep enough. I mean, of course, they wanted to protect the this thing or the knife, so they are not touching each other. But I definitely have a hard time to reach down to this thing to the level where it's needed to do something. But I mean, you can remove the lid, but it's difficult to add it again, or you could just use a normal spoon, but you have to be careful, especially with this automatic mode, that it's not going to start automatically. I mean, with this automatic modes, like with the soup, it probably will then at some point start to spin the knife. Now there's definitely already some steam. It's crazy. There is still some ice in it, but I can see some steam. Yeah, this is just a couple of minutes after we have started, and most of the ice has already melted, so it looks like the heating is really strong, probably similar to what you have on a normal boiler plate with a normal pan. So after about 10 minutes the whole ice was melted, and I can already feel some warmth, and it's showing 55 degrees Celsius. I don't know if you can change this to Fahrenheit, I don't think so. And now, after a little bit more than 10 minutes, we see the first bubbles coming up here. So it's really hot, but it's still good here. I mean, you can feel here it's the cold thing from the ice, and here it's very hot. But I wonder when it will start to stir. I mean, a soup needs some stir every now and then. I don't know when it's starting, and nothing described about stirring for the soup, but for some other programs it mentions that. Let's say for the keep warm says heat continuously, stirring every 3 minutes, keeping the heat at about 50 degrees. So I had the impression that it has stopped heating with about 96 degrees Celsius. I mean, we are here pretty much at sea level, which is then, yeah, boiling point would be around 100 degrees, real boiling temperature. Now it has increased to 97. Still not spinning. Yeah, for me it looks like it's not going to spin, or just with 99 or 100. Yeah, we are at 98 now, 99. We have reached 100 degrees. Yeah, we cannot go higher. That's it, and still no spinning, no stirring. But now you can see the time. The time is now counting down. Yes, so overall the soup would need, or the whole program would run much longer than these 30 minutes which we see here in the instructions. So it needed about, yeah, I would say 15 minutes or so to heat up, and then the time is counting down 40 minutes, but I've really no clue why it's not spinning. So it looks like the soup program is not spinning, I would say. So maybe let's try with another program. I stopped this thing here. Let's see if we can do that. I start it again. When we go into the keep warm and we start the thing, let's see what it does. I don't know if this is indicating that it is trying to cool down, or if this is an indication that it will start to spin and stir anytime soon. Okay, now it started for the first time. It was probably around 3 minutes since I started the whole process, so it looks like it's not heating up. Yeah, the program says it will keep temperature at 50 degrees, and so it's just stirring every 3 minutes or so. I really didn't do anything. It did it on its own, so definitely that works, but there is nothing you can program this thing. If you want to have something like a soup which is kept at 100 degrees and is stirring every 3 minutes or so, that's not going to happen. There's no possibility to do that. Oh yeah, there's one important thing I almost forgot to show you. That's always this nozzle here. It depends a little bit on the nozzle, how easy or difficult it is to pour liquid into something, and you can see here it's a little bit dragging everything to the back. When I'm slow, it can happen that this thing is flowing then down here. When I'm a little bit doing it faster, with a little bit more speed, and it's usually not such a problem. But I have seen better designs here, but at least it's working. It's not crazy. I have seen worse, but I have also seen better with the plastic. It's probably a little bit easier. Yeah, plastic is usually always a little bit easier. You can see that even though it has a very similar design, it works much better. So if you have the choice, like you don't have like hard things or to crush, or you don't need the heating process, you're probably better off using this thing here. I've been using the keep warm function now for a while, and it looks like it's pretty steady at 50 degrees. Sometimes it's a little bit above, sometimes it's a little bit below, but it's just usually about 1 degree. Apart from that, it's pretty nicely staying at 50 degrees, so it looks like it can work pretty good for like keeping a soup in good condition at a good ready to eat temperature, and keep it circulating every 3 minutes or so. The only thing what I'm really missing is to change the temperature. I mean, this function is really nice, but it would be nice to maybe change the interval speed, or like the interval time, and especially change the temperature. Maybe do the same thing at 60 degrees Celsius or at 70 degrees Celsius, but there's nothing you can do. You can see the panel or the buttons are totally inactivated. You can't do anything. There's just this button here, and you cannot... Yeah, you have seen now it works. It's spinning every 3 minutes, but you cannot do anything. You cannot change the temperature. That's really bad. It would be really nice to have also, apart from setting time and speed, would be nice to have also a temperature setting, especially during the automatic programming, but it's not possible. So at least I have been able to show you everything. I mean, it's powerful cutting, definitely. I have no doubt about that. With the ice cubes, it was a little bit difficult, but every other stuff, I think it shouldn't be any problem. It's powerful heating. All the functions are working. I mean, I haven't been trying everything, but basically the heating up and the spinning, everything, and the automatic process seems to work pretty good. But it's not a really flexible thing. I mean, there's a huge panel. You would think maybe there's a very flexible thing, different kind of your own programming or so possible, or at least switch to Fahrenheit. Not even that is possible as it looks, but I'm not complaining. I mean, everything is working as it has been listed for, and it comes actually for a pretty low price for everything, for the solid thing, solid glass, and all the functions. And I'll put down the link to the Amazon listing down into the description, so you can check it out and order it right from there if you like it. I mean, I like it at this moment. At this price point, I would say I can give you full recommendation, and I hope I've been able to help you a little bit with this video. If you have any questions or comments, just write to the comment section below, and I'm always happy to talk about these things. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.